Well, hello, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. I'm so glad you could join me today. Sorry for the lapse in videos. It's been hotter than Hades here, and it's really taken it out of my will to live. Yeah, got no energy. No energy for making videos. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm really sorry that this video is late, where I peruse some of the new history titles that have come out or are about to come out in these final 2 weeks of July. So welcome to new history arrivals, new history releases for July 2026. This stack is actually not as big as I had expected, but I should probably know by now that summer months, especially June and July, you don't get a big glut. The publishing world is not, cranking things out that quickly. But I'll tell you what, September, October, and November books are already arriving in galley form here at the History Shelf. And yeah, those are going to be coming up. And I'm going to make sure I get those filmed at the end of the month, prior to the month that I'll be sharing those releases in. So anyway, I'm going to show you what arrived for July here at the History Shelf. And please keep watching, because I've got at least 2 more videos coming of I'm catching up on all of the other books that have arrived earlier in the year. So not July arrivals, but earlier in the summer, late spring. And they are some fantastic titles I've got to share with you. So stay tuned for those. Okay, are we ready to do this? Huh? Yes? All right, that's me moving my keyboard out of the way. It got up to be 103 degrees here in Denver yesterday. And luckily our air conditioning is working, but I'm getting cabin fever from being stuck in this house. Can't even do yard work between the air quality and the smoke in the air from wildfires, the ozone levels. It's just constant air quality alerts, and it doesn't feel good. And I think we're still breathing it in, because I've been feeling kind of icky. So yay summer. I'm ready for fall. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's start off. This is in no particular order. These are just July releases. This book, tiny little book here. Let's save that for later. Let's get into some meaty history, because that's what you're here for, right? Meaty history and nonfiction. All right. Since we are talking about summer, well, let's talk about this book, which is from Citadel Press. Oh, I see. It just came out. It went on sale. It says July, but it's supposed to be on sale June 30th. It's probably out right now. This is from Citadel Press. And this is Summer of 71, The 5 Months That Changed America, by John A. Jenkins. This is a galley, so it's not a finished copy. This was 1 year before I was born. Do the math. It was a country in chaos. A calculating president seeking re-election, battling the press, subverting the political order, sowing chaos, bent on revenge, racial tensions erupting into violence, national protests, mass arrests, leaks tied to a nationwide scandal, overshadowing and possibly threatening to define the White House, inflation surging. Wait, does this sound familiar? Reproductive rights, freedom of the press, and academic freedom under fire, frozen wages and high tariffs, conflict between the US and Russia, surveillance and leaks. Wow, what is this? Secret federal schemes, courageous journalists fighting back. Watergate was still 1 summer away, but during the fateful summer of 1971, the groundwork was being laid for the downfall. of the president against the growing ideological divide of a nation. Change, unrest, intrigue, and disruption seemed to come from every corner of the country, from civil unrest in the streets to the atrocities of Vietnam, leading up to the shocking leak of the Pentagon Papers. From the cover-up of heinous crimes protecting the political reputations of men in high government to anxious CEOs, from sweeping transformation and international relations to a charged and divided populace, the stage was being set for the drama that is still playing out today. See here, skillfully researched and based on thousands of primary and newly available sources. Award-winning reporter, longtime Washington insider, and acclaimed author John A. Jenkins paints a picture of America's fateful summer, told through the words of the key players themselves. This enthralling page-turner takes readers into the heart of America's turbulent, uncertain past that would set the country's tone for years to come. And that is your Summer of 71. Looks pretty darn interesting, though, I have to say. A lot was going on the year before I was born. All right, cool. Let's keep moving. Let's see. Oh, this will be fun. This book is coming out. This one is really hard to identify sometimes. They don't even have it listed. It's supposed to come out this month, but let me, I'll come back to it when I can do a little bit of research on the date that it comes out, because this book does not indicate, not even the pub sheet, and that's a problem. Same with this one. Let's see. Nope. Okay. We got one. All right. Let's go to, ooh, this looks really good. All right. Some World War II history. This book came out July 7th from Norton, W.W. Norton. Love W.W. Norton. This is Hotel Exile, Paris in the Shadows of War by Jane Rogoyska. As you can see, so I have the advanced reading copy here. Let's see if I can get in there. Let me just read from the back, because I think this is better copy here. Since its birth in 1910, the Hotel Lutetia has been a grand Paris institution, a meeting place for artists, intellectuals, musicians, and politicians. André Gide took his lunch here. James Joyce lived in one of its rooms. Picasso and Matisse were regular guests. But the hotel has a darker history, too, from the years before, during, and after the Second World War. In Hotel Exile, Jane Rogoyska evokes in novelistic prose the emotions, dilemmas, and fates of the hotel's patrons. From intellectuals and political activists fleeing Nazi Germany to German counterintelligence officers who commandeered the hotel during the occupation, to Holocaust survivors who sought refuge after the liberation. A masterpiece of empathy and concision, Hotel Exile offers us a vision of the edges of a war and of the three groups connected to a place, to one another, and to the dark ideology that dictated some of the 20th century's most devastating events. Wow. Oh, I know this name. I think I have that book. She also wrote, Jane Rogoyska wrote, Surviving Katyn. If you remember, that was the massive massacre of Polish officers by Stalin. Surviving Katyn, Stalin's Polish massacre and the search for truth, which won the Mark Litton History Prize. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, she also wrote a novel, Kozlowski. I might have to look up her other work. Yeah. I'll definitely be reading this. And let's see if I like it enough. I might even try to get a finished copy. Fantastic, guys. So Hotel Exile, Paris in the Shadows of War by Jane Rogoyska. All right. And that is available now, because I am very late with my July history book roundup. All right. We all know, right? You're like, stop harping on it, Peg. I shall. All right. Then we have this book from the great folks at Bloomsbury Books. Love Bloomsbury Books, Bloomsbury Publishing. Give me the actual date when this has come out. Does it tell me? Handy dandy pub sheets here. Yay, it does. Okay, so this came out about a week ago, July 14th. So it is available now from Bloomsbury, and this is Homer Haunted, The Many Afterlives of an Ancient Poet by Henry Power. So all of you Homer fans, and I'm not talking about The Simpsons, ancient history and philosophy and everything else. Homer Haunted. This is going to be good. All right, let's get into it. What are we looking at here? All right, I'm going to hold it up so you can look at this beautiful cover while I read from the sheet. The Siege of Troy and Odysseus's long voyage home. And you see how this ties in with the massive, Christopher Nolan epic, The Odyssey, which I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to go see or not. I might just wait to rent it, although it would be probably better to watch it on IMAX or something. But anyway, The Siege of Troy and Odysseus's long voyage home have inspired many of our most thrilling and radical poets. Henry Power takes us on a surprising journey through the afterlives of these mysterious epics and the search for the poet who created them. Homer Haunted. Guiding us through the twists and turns of the Iliad and the Odyssey, and of the two, I've always preferred the Iliad. I've always loved the Iliad. Anyway, Power travels to the places where Homer's stories have taken root, from the islands of Greece to the Scottish Highlands, the Devon coast to suburban Los Angeles, to trace the footsteps of the poets, politicians, lunatics, and lovers haunted by Homer's mythical heroes and monsters. A dazzlingly original and deeply personal testament to the power of poetry, Homer Haunted is an epic account of how our oldest stories have shaped the way we read, write, and think. Oh, fantastic. But let me just look at some of these chapters, tell you what to expect. Oh, this is great. Yeah, so each chapter kind of focuses on a person, like they were saying, the poets, politicians, writers, artists, whatever. Here we go. Some of the chapters are, we have Alexander Pope, we have John Keats, Matthew Arnold, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, H.D. and Ezra Pound. Some of the names I don't recognize, like David Melnick, Tom Gunn, Christopher Logue. Yeah, some of these names I don't recognize, but I recognize at least, I'd say about half, roughly half. Oh, this is going to be good. I'm really intrigued by the chapter on Matthew Arnold. What chapters? That's 103. Let's see what Matthew Arnold. Oh, and each chapter has a beautiful little black and white illustration to go along with it. So here we've got father and sons, Matthew Arnold, and then this beautiful drawing. Oh, fantastic. So, yes, great. Homer Haunted, guys. That's available right now from Bloomsbury. All right, we're going to head on into, oh, no, this one is August. I got ahead of myself. Oh, you guys, well, there's a fantastic book coming out in August. I'm just going to tease it for you. I'm going to save this for the August releases, which I plan on filming come hell or high water next week, the last week of July, and I'm going to get that video up. If not before August, then I'm like on August 1st. But you guys, there's a new, I think I'm going to call it an intellectual, it's an intellectual biography on Hannah Arendt. So you stay tuned for that video. You better hit that notification bell for my August new history releases. Yeah, so okay, we're saving this for August. All right. Now, here's a book that I am slated to actually write a review for Washington Independent Review of Books. This book came out today. This is July 21st. And I know a lot of you out there will probably be really vibing on this one. I don't want to read all. Okay, yeah, we're going to read this one. Okay, you ready? Because I got a finished copy. And I plan on marking this one up and keeping it. Because I think it's going to be that good. Let's hope it is. This is The Biggest Lie. The Prehistory of American Fascism. 1818 to 1915 by Joseph Kelly. And that is, I have one of his other books, Marooned. All right, but let's concentrate on The Biggest Lie. And this is a nice, oh, and this is put out by, another Bloomsbury title. I'm really happy to have the finished copy. This is great. All right, Joseph Kelly's The Biggest Lie. Just trying to get that focus for you. Is an eye-opening work of narrative history tracing the roots of fascism back to the, thank you, because that's where it comes from. Tracing the roots of fascism, because I just finished a book on this. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. And I'm writing a review of that other book today. Like after I finish filming tonight, I'm writing a book review on this other book that talked about a lot about that kind of this stuff. Okay, it's an eye-opening work of narrative history tracing the roots of fascism back to the antebellum South. The Biggest Lie is a lens into our country's history that provides insight into our future and current political climate. When American fascists suddenly goose-stepped down Main Street in the 1930s, fascism was seen by the rest of the country as a terrifying and radical new European import. It was not. It didn't come from abroad, nor was it new or radical. In his book, Kelly uncovers how 20th century European fascists learned, oh my goodness, here we go. Get ready, guys. Oh, man. Oh, I know I have got a lot of viewers in the American South. I'm just reading to you from the book jacket. Okay, in his new book, Kelly uncovers how 20th century European fascists learned from U.S. Confederate leaders and notes that Mussolini would not have rose to power without the Confederate States of America. Wow. Okay, well, I haven't heard that argument made before, so that's going to be interesting. The seed of American fascism was planted by elite Southern planters who insisted that slavery need not be addressed in the Constitution because it would soon die out on its own, thus beginning the ideals of Herrenvolk democracy. That is a German word, Herrenvolk. I know the Volk means the people, folk, the people, but I'm not sure Herren. Okay. The Biggest Lie chronicles fascism's emergence in the antebellum South, its codification under Jim Crow, and then, after the Spanish-American War, its ascendancy in the form of Anglo-Saxon nationalism, proposing that the nation belongs to a master race, the original lie of American fascism. In this dark hour of American history, Kelly's gripping story reminds us that the moneyed elite have always excelled at deploying disinformation to bias and inflame the masses, but also that there have always been courageous patriots helping us to fight our way out of darkness and toward the light. Wow. And Joseph Kelly, actually, he is he's from the South, it looks like. He is a professor of literature and history at the College of Charleston, and he lives in Charleston, South Carolina. It's so weird, not weird, but in my last live stream with Bill and Brian, I don't know if you guys, my regular viewers have, tuned in to watch that or saw the replay. We were talking about, I was mentioning first that lately my reading, there's been a serendipity of things happening in my reading where something that I've talked about or read about somewhere else is cropping up everywhere else. And that is what's happening now. Again, I just finished a book. Is it here? Yes, great. I can show it to you. So anyway, guys, this published today. So check it out. I'm just trying to get, there you go. And this is so, and I'm starting this probably in the next week. And I just finished this book, which, like I said, I'm writing a review for in the next hour. This book is coming out in October. I highly recommend it, although, boy, this guy pulls no punches. This is the Confederacy myth, and I showed this on the live stream too. I just finished it the other night. How an insurrection of slaveholders tried to destroy the United States by Connor Williams. And this is being put out by St. Martin's Press. I really already advance recommendations for you guys. This one, I got to get my hands on the finished copy. This book was the cry de coeur, the cry of the hearts, right? Of focusing on it, and it's so much about like what this guy is saying in his book here, Joseph Kelly. I haven't read this yet. Like I said, I'll be starting it shortly. But what comes across in reading the Confederacy myth is that these elite, moneyed Southern plantation owners, like the ones who were, I'm not talking about every white person in the South. I'm talking about these elite, like the I got to be careful what I say. I don't want to get anything. They had all the money, had hundreds of slaves, and basically held the American government hostage, and just made sure that they got all the federal assistance they needed to make sure slavery was protected, to protect their interests. It all comes back down to money, folks. It's always about money. In my 50 plus years of reading, learning, living, experiencing life, and just what I've absorbed from everything I've witnessed and been privy to, is that it all comes down to money. And in my Christian faith teaches me that is, the money is money is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money. That's the root of all evil. Anyway, it comes back down to protecting their interests, and they held the American government, the U.S. government, pretty much hostage, and this guy here, Connor Williams, just destroys it. And in fact, he doesn't even like to, he rarely calls these people Confederates. He calls them insurrectionists, domestic enemies. It's a whole new way. Well, it's actually not a whole new way of looking at the Civil War, because he wants us to return to the proper memory of the Civil War, which has been lost after Reconstruction, after the Lost Cause advocates started rewriting and revising history to make the Confederate war effort some type of noble, beautiful, gone with the wind type of thing, when the hard, cold truth laid out in facts, which this is what this guy does, Connor Williams, it blows everything out of the water. And he calls people back to celebrating the loyalty, the lives that were sacrificed, the men who went to war for the Union to save this government, to save a proposition that all men are created equal. And we didn't start off on the best foot in the country because of the slavery. It diminished what we were supposed to be from the outset. And I do believe history is a never-ending kind of story until the end of the age, until this world is gone. We can still try to cleave towards that ideal. And I think, the way I remembered the Civil War growing up is quite different from the way I look at it now, because there's so much scholarship out there, guys. And the facts are there. If you just go reading and you dig through it, and then you apply your own critical thinking to say, wait a minute, I was sold on all this kind of like, oh, brother against brother. And we're there, when the 50-year reunion at Gettysburg, you had all these old vets, Confederates and Union guys shaking hands across the wall of the high water mark of the Confederacy. But it wasn't really the reality. There were hard feelings. Like, there was so much suffering in the Civil War on both sides. And he does call for empathy for the Southern people, like, who were basically kind of just kind of swept up into it without letting them off the hook for basically what this was. The Confederate States of America, there never was such a thing. There was never a nation by any rules of what makes a legitimate state, and he lays them out here. They never were. It was an insurrection. So this was a fascinating book. Now, this biggest lie is, it sounds like it's going to also kind of reinforce some of the myths, because that's what he's trying to bust in this other book, Connor Williams is. So I'm really intrigued. Sorry for this. I had to talk about it. I just read this book, and then reading this, we're getting back to talking about Southern plantation owners again and slaveholders again. And it's just, they were fascist people. They were. And it wasn't about states' rights. Ugh, that's the other thing that drives me nuts about the Civil War. It was never about states' rights. Please, if you disagree with me and you want to defend, I want to challenge you. When this book comes out in October, please read it. And then come back to me and let's debate it. But anyway, starting this up in the next week, looking forward to it. I'll be writing a review, like I said. And that's the other thing I need to do, is update my social media with all of the recent book reviews I've done. I am so behind. Even with AI, I've been trying to use AI to help me just get these social posts done. Still not kind of liking what AI does. I still like to write in my own voice, but I don't have a lot of time to sit there and write a 2-paragraph summation. I just want to point you to my written piece. So just, if you're a longtime follower and you follow me on social media, just know that, yes, I have been playing with AI a little bit. What AI spits back at me, I don't take it verbatim. I usually might adapt some of it, and then I insert some of my own comments. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be a time saver, but I just feel weird about it. I still want it to be me. So, I got to find time to get my book reviews out there for you guys. Okay, and now I'm going to find out this final book here. All right, wait, before we do that one, though, I've got one other book that actually published today. And you guys, I've got a giveaway for anyone who's interested. The last time I offered one, no one was interested. I'm like, are you kidding me? No one wants a free book? I have an advanced reader copy of this book. So if you're into philosophy, French intellectualism, you might want to email me and let me know you're interested in getting the ARC, the advanced reading copy of this. But I have the hardcover now. It looks interesting. I do like intellectual history, so I do plan on reading this. It looks really good. This is called The Frenchman, or My Life in Theory, by Emily Eakin. This published today from Penguin Press. Been loving some Penguin Press lately. So yeah, check out this. I love the cover. It's very clever. I want to hold this up while I'm reading. Let's see here. All right, let's see how long I can hold this up, okay? Because my hand was hurting on the other one. All right, remember, if you'd like an advanced reading copy of this, paperback, email me at my business address, which is in the About tab on my YouTube homepage. All right, here we go. When Emily Eakin arrived at Harvard in the late 1980s, she fell under the spell of an eclectic body of philosophical texts by a handful of French authors. This was French theory, a set of, here's a great word, recondite, a set of recondite ideas that had taken American campuses by a storm during the preceding decades. In retrospect, the influence of these men and their writing seems both extraordinary and improbable. The Frenchman argued that language is all-powerful, meaning unstable, and the self is an illusion. Those silly French. Sorry. Okay. Their prose was brilliant, dazzling even, but often mystifyingly elaborate and highly abstract. Yet American students and scholars flocked to their books and lectures, intoxicated by a powerful new means of understanding and perhaps even changing the world. For Eakin, an unsophisticated graduate of a small-town Midwestern high school, theory was no mere intellectual exercise, but a way of being, a heady shortcut to worldly glamour and wisdom. So, in The Frenchman is the story of Eakin's youthful love affair with French theory, alongside a wider examination of its rise and fall. Looking closely at Jacques Derrida, Louis Althusser, Roland Barthes, Guy Deleuze, Michel Foucault, Felix Guattari, Jacques Lacan, and the French-speaking Belgian Paul de Man, Eakin untangles their famously difficult works with peerless, delightful clarity. Well, thank goodness, because I really can't understand any of that. So please bombard me with your peerless clarity. What's more, she brings to light the eccentric, scandalous, at times criminal lives of thinkers who themselves were often highly averse to biography, in a daringly original weave of storytelling and exegesis. Another great word. As she explores the magnetism of their work, Eakin illuminates not just the Frenchman's enduring legacy, but some of today's deepest political, social, and intellectual arguments. She neither rejects nor flatters the Frenchman's ideas, but instead reveals how they indelibly changed our understanding of power, truth, and identity. Eakin shows how, for better or worse, the Frenchmen continue to shape and unsettle our lives today. Wow. Oh, Emily Eakin. Yo! She's the senior editor at the New York Times Book Review. And this is her first book. Fantastic. I can't wait to dig into this. I might jump around a little bit just because some of these concepts by these French thinkers and writers and philosophers they just make me want to stick a fork in my eye. So, but I'm sure Emily's going to make it a lot of fun. And I love, hey, if she's from the New York Times Book Review, you know, I get their every other week book review journal in the mail. Love it. All right, so let me know if you'd like to have an advanced reader copy of this. If this is your jam, let me hook you up. Also, just another, if anyone, I know times are tough, but I'm saying I need a little help mailing these books out, guys. I'm working so hard. Just if you could go to buy me a coffee. I don't drink coffee, but it helps me with postage because I print labels here. I pay for everything, and then I take them I take off books and I mail stuff out at the post office. But just some donations at that link, which is in my description box, would be helpful, and also on my homepage. So yeah, let me know what you think. All right. And now for something completely different, let me pause real quick while I look up this publication date for this final book. All right, so don't go anywhere. Okay, I have answers. All right. Apparently, this book is ranked number 1 on Amazon in the kayaking book section. Hope I've gotten some kayakers' attention here. This book came out July 14th, so it's available now. This is from Hanover Square Press, and this is Fierce Country, the untold story of 3 women who ignited America's love for the wild, by Heather Hansman. Yes, I was sent this book a while ago, and I thought it was going to come out in June or May or June, and it actually was July, so I was hanging on to it for a while to show you guys. This is the inspiring, untold story of 3 incredible women who spearheaded recreation, conservation, and resilience in America's most beloved landscapes. In the spring of 1945, when just a handful of people had been through the Grand Canyon in boats, Georgie White jumped into the river in just a life jacket and swam through the rapids. She spent the rest of her life bringing people through the canyon, kickstarting river running and the recreation industry. Well, now I know about the kayaking, why it's ranked number 1 in the kayaking books section. While Georgie was guiding the river, pioneering wilderness guide Anne La Bastille protected endangered species and predicted the impacts of climate change from her isolated off-grid cabin in the Adirondacks. Meanwhile, groundbreaking powder skier Dolores LaChapelle was developing an environmental philosophy that shaped everything from the radical environmental movement of the 70s to modern conservation ethics. All three women were obsessed with the places they love and unwilling to compromise about being outside. They were relentless and revolutionary, but they were largely ignored except in small circles. Now, outdoor journalist and celebrated author of Powder Days, Heather Hansman goes deep into three rugged American landscapes to bring these women's fascinating lives to the forefront of the outdoor movement, affirming the rightful place in the larger story of an evolving American wild. Okay, so this is out now in hardcover. This is my advanced copy. If any of you out there have a burning attraction to this topic, whether it's conservation, American parks, women taking these leading roles and all of this, let me know in the comments or shoot me an email. I'd be more than willing to send this to you. Okay, I do want to hook people up. I do want to hook people up. Books, and I get more than my fair share, and I just want to share the love and spread the wealth. So yeah, let me know what you think. And that wraps up. Oh no, sorry, we've got one more. And this, we're going to go back to the one I almost started with. Here's a little volume, again, for something completely different. This is from Portfolio Penguin Press. This also came out July 14th. This is a little tiny volume. It's called The Practice of Not Reading, which seems antithetical to the entire booktube industry. Zen Wisdom for a Happy Life by Ryushun Kusanagi. Like I said, a little tiny thing. Let's see here. Oh, this is an interesting tagline. Hardship is part of life. Suffering is something we add. I don't know if that's always, I don't know about that. Okay. In this profound and clarifying book, he's a Buddhist monk. Buddhist monk Ryushun Kusanagi teaches a core truth of the Buddha's path. It is not what happens to us that disturbs the heart, but the desires, aversions, and judgments that arise in the mind. When we stop reacting, the mind settles. We find peace. Drawing on the ancient wisdom of Buddha, Kusanagi teaches how to immediately release anger, anxiety, and comparison, how to loosen attachment to good and bad, and how to let our reactions come and go like ocean waves. Loved by hundreds of thousands of readers across Japan. That's nice. This life-changing book is now available in English for the first time. For anyone seeking the vital freedom that comes with the practice of non-reaction, this is your guide. Okay. I'm also going to offer this up to anyone who might be interested, any of you who practice Buddhism. One moment. Sorry about that. I had my car's in the shop and I'm waiting for the mechanic to call me back, and I thought that was him, but it was not. All right. So if anyone out there is interested in the practices of like Buddhist, teachings and how to live, this whole aspect of non-reaction, it doesn't work for me. First of all, I've never been drawn to any type of Buddhist teachings. It's just my personal, my faith is Christian. I just follow like, those teachings, especially, New Testament gospel and Jesus Christ. That's what I focus on. And I do believe suffering is a part of life. So, my beliefs are radically, diametrically opposed to this. I don't think people are meant to be, we're emotional creatures. It's just built into us. So when hard times happen and when people are having physical ailments or they're watching someone they love suffer, and I just think suffering is real. It's not about our reactions cause the suffering. To me, it's just to live is to suffer. You know what I mean? And so I just, I can't, this is not going to work for me. You know, this whole thing about to let our reactions come and go like ocean waves, as if we're like a rock on the shoreline, this inanimate piece of, and just let things hit you. Just don't react. It's just not a human, to me, it's just not a natural thing. It just doesn't. I mean, if someone, I mean, I know that these Buddhist monks, they train all their lives to have that type, and I think they get really good at it. And I think you can learn some of these techniques to maybe not overreact. But you know, I'm just editorializing. This book's not going to work for me. So, oh, did I say the practice of not reading? Oh my God, it's the practice of not reacting. I thought it was the practice of not reading. And that's okay. Wow. The practice of not paying attention. That's what I'm guilty of. Sorry. Even with my glasses on, and then I'm looking at the mirror reaction and I saw reading. I don't know why. Any of you out there interested, let me know. It's yours. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me for this very weird new history release July video. Wow. Okay. Another video is coming really soon because I've got 2 stacks of books that I just need to catch up on a ton of new arrivals. But I wanted to at least get my monthly segment done, even though I'm midway through the month, if not more. But August is coming real soon. So get ready for August. Again, thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf, guys. I hope you're doing well out there and staying cool. I hope if any of you out there are suffering in whatever form that is, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, I pray my God's blessings. I pray God's blessings to give you strength, to give you love, to give you comfort, and to give you perseverance, and to give you hope. So, and that is my prayer and my hope for you. So let's end there, guys. Until next time, thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that groovy stuff, and we'll see you next time. Bye.